We are joined now by Anthony Bellino, the host of the X's and Bros on Fox Sports Radio here in Toledo in the Morning Blitz. And Anthony, a stunning announcement earlier today from Michigan, not a completely unexpected announcement, but still a stunner that Ohio State Michigan will not play this Saturday.
Yeah, and it was something that we were all very concerned about. Obviously, with Ohio State coming off of one of their cancellations, no team in the Big Ten had been able to play in consecutive weeks after a COVID case had canceled the game. So Ohio State being able to show up and play against Michigan State last week, that was a good sign for the Buckeyes. Michigan missing their game against Maryland, that was a bad sign for the Wolverines and for the Buckeyes included, because this game very much a necessity for Ohio State at this point under the current rules of the Big Ten. But focusing just on the game for a minute, disappointing. And I know, look, it doesn't matter. Every Michigan fan, I think, will admit this and do so willingly. Michigan football in 2020 is not a good product. It's not a very good team. It's not a very well coached team, I don't think, at this point, considering their record with the amount of talent they allegedly have on that roster. But this game means a lot. It means a lot to both fan bases. It means a lot to both universities, and it definitely means a lot to Fox. So when you think about the cancellation and what's weighing in that decision that had to be made, I know that the internet and of course Twitter is going to come up with conspiracy theories. This is Jim Harbaugh's way of making sure Ohio State can't make the play. I think all of that is malarkey, for lack of a better way to put it on live television here. The fact that anybody would think that this is like Michigan trying to undermine Ohio State, I think really is very bereft of how competitive Jim Harbaugh is. And I know that Michigan would not have a good chance. I saw a 30-point line come out of Vegas. 30-point, was that for the first half or for the game? Because if it was for the game, I think even that is kind of generous considering the way the Buckeyes can move the football and the Wolverine defense can't stop anybody. But I think that this game is wanted to be played by the Michigan football program, because at the end of the day, it's still a rivalry game. Stranger things have happened. I'm not saying it's probable, but I am saying that it's possible. But now you don't get that chance now that the game is canceled.
Jim Harbaugh made a point to say to a man the Michigan players wanted this game to happen. And if you look at last weekend, Ohio State, they had, I think, 23 players listed as unavailable for their game against Michigan State. Reportedly, Michigan was looking at double that number that would be unavailable for Saturday's game against Ohio State. So that can lay to rest one of those conspiracy theories. And the fact of the matter is, if Michigan truly wanted to do something evil, if you will, to Ohio State, they could have waited until Thursday or Friday to cancel this game. By canceling it on Tuesday, it does give Ohio State in the Big Ten some flexibility to try and get something done for this Saturday for the Buckeyes. But from a Michigan perspective, they're still looking at it as they're going to be one more game December 19th. And one of the interesting comments from Ward Manuel today was he would be open to playing Ohio State on December 19th if Michigan can play a game on December 19th.
Yeah, I think that's a very intriguing move there by Warren Manuel on the old chessboard here. And look, the number of cases is important here, because I think what Ohio State did last week at Michigan State to go out and up to Sparty and beat the brakes off of them by 40 points, missing 23 guys and multiple coaches, that was pretty impressive. That is basically saying, hey, look, we will take 23 guys out of our lineup and still go beat whoever you have. Our backups are better than your first string. So I think that having a number, or at least a guess at a number of where Michigan is at with how many cases they potentially have, I think that is important for both fan bases to realize that this is a serious issue. And I think that is important. For Ward Manuel to throw it out there like, hey, you want to play in Champions Week, which I don't know why the Big Ten continues to go with this stuff. It's neither here nor there, but the Big Ten put themselves in this position. The Wolverines, would they like that game in Champions Week? Yeah, sure. It's a good way to end the season. You get one more crack at it. You get the practice time leading up to it, which we know that they need. So from Michigan's standpoint, from the program, that's a positive. For Ohio State, however, this is a case for the Big Ten where they need to come out and make an amendment to that rule with that arbitrary number of 6 games, because it's very clear after losing 23 guys in last week's game against Michigan State, that's the best team the Big Ten has to offer. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is it. If we're going to have a representative in the college football playoff, it's got to be the kids from Columbus. So somehow, some way, the Big Ten better circle their wagons, get to some sort of boardroom, maybe do a Zoom meeting like we're doing here, Mark, maybe maybe put together a PowerPoint. I don't know. I could help them with this. Make the easy call, make the smart call, because if you don't put Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, that's why I don't believe what Ward said. It's a good chess move. Hey, we'll play them. If they want to play then, we can do it there. But I think the Big Ten amends that ruling a little bit and allows Ohio State, with only 5 games played, to play in the Big Ten championship game. Because if they don't, that's a travesty across the conference.
The other report that came out earlier this week was that Ward Manuel and Jim Harbaugh were ready to discuss a contract extension. Now, on Tuesday, both of them would not discuss that, said they won't discuss that until the end of the season, defining the end of the season being December 19th. But the report was that Ward Manuel is willing to give Jim Harbaugh an extension. They would take some of the base salary away from Harbaugh. They would reallocate some of those funds to the assistant coach's salary pool. It also would give both Michigan and Harbaugh a little more flexibility if they want to part ways down the road. And the other report was that there are 4 to 5 NFL teams that are expressing interest in Jim Harbaugh. So all of this is part of this backstory on this entire season. And you do get this sense from Jim Harbaugh that he wants to be back at Michigan next year. And I think maybe we'll have a better resolution come December 20th, but that was also one of the backstories this entire week.
Yeah, this is a very peculiar case, and I understand why Michigan, all things considered, this past offseason with everything happening in COVID, the budgets are a mess, and that's across the board. That's in every walk of life right now. Our economy it's a mess at the common man level. Now, Jim Harbaugh, not a common man salary, but they have to do something in order to try to reallocate some of those funds. An offer of 3 years, I think personally, is kind of kicking the can down the road, because with the low buyout number that is there, some of the incentive, like the performance-based incentive that would be built into that contract, I just don't know, Mark. I honestly don't. I was one of the most hopeful people when Jim Harbaugh came to this program 6 years ago that he was going to turn it around within 4 years. He'd be in the college football playoff and, quite frankly, competing and beating Ohio State, winning a Big Ten championship, making a trip to Indianapolis. That hasn't been the case, and it's been very painful for the fan base. And I think when you see something like this, like, okay, maybe a 3-year deal will take a little bit of the money away. For me, the program is at a crossroads, and I don't see how, if they keep Jim Harbaugh and he keeps Don Brown, I can't make an argument for a fan who says that I'm thinking about switching teams, or I'm not going to be. I can't tell you not to, because doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same result is defined by insanity, and that's what this is. And I really look at this, and I saw those reports. And I was immediately a little bit discouraged, because I think there is an old friend of ours by the name of Matt Campbell. Now, despite what you might read on Twitter from CBS and whoever else has their source, I know for a fact via text exchange today with someone over there that he would, if Michigan called, he would answer that phone. There are 3 jobs he's interested in: Michigan, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. And Notre Dame's not going anywhere. Ohio State's not going anywhere. Michigan, that's very, very interesting to see if Michigan would give Matt Campbell a call at Iowa State, considering the success that his guys have had. Because for me, personally, professionally, this isn't working at the University of Michigan. The Jim Harbaugh experiment is not working. And I know that he says, and it does kind of feel like he comes off like he wants to come back, which I don't know. I haven't sat down and really talked to him one-on-one to have that opportunity to be able to really pick his brain about, are you tired? Because you look tired. And if you're tired and you lose it, you saw what happened to Les Miles and LSU. It's a grind. College football is a much different game. It's a 365-day-a-year job. The recruiting nonstop, the transfer portal, all of it. He looks tired to me when I watch games. I don't see the same fire. I don't see the same passion, the same emotion. And I think we're seeing the results on the field where the kids don't look like they're playing inspired either. So when I saw those rumors about a potential contract extension for Jim Harbaugh, it made me nervous, Mark. It really did.
Well, and another part of the calculus of this decision-making process for Michigan, and really for all of college football, is the fact that we are 8 days away from signing day. Despite the fact that the college football season has been pushed back into December, the signing day remains December 16th. So you've got plenty of negative recruiting about Michigan, about an unsettled coaching situation. So personally, I think Michigan wants to have a resolution before next Wednesday, but hearing what we heard from Ward Manuel and Jim Harbaugh today, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, which is going to make signing day much more interesting for the Michigan Wolverines.
That's why you got to tell young people you have to commit to the school. You have to commit to the school. If you're looking to play college athletics, for any young person or parent that might be watching this right now, the coaches are nice. It is a courtship is what it is. It is that beginning, building of the relationship. They're going to tell you how great your kid is and how good your kid is, and how they'll tell the kid how great he is and how they need him. They want him. He's going to become a part of the plan. and then he's going to get on campus, and reality is going to hit that young man like a sack of potatoes. That's what's going to happen. The wake-up calls for early morning lifts, the nutritional plan, the physical and mental strain that goes on a student athlete, especially in the sport of football, where it's so physically demanding, and then academics as well. And then guess what? You are maybe the best player from your high school that is going to a university to where everybody that you look at, they were the best player at their high school. You were a big fish in a small pond, and that reality sets in for a lot of young men very, very quickly. And then coaches have a lot of leeway. They have a lot of mobility. They can move at any time. So I think that one thing is for sure, if you are a commit that is looking to go to school, it doesn't matter if you're going to Lords or if you're going to Ohio State. Doesn't matter where you go. What's important is you're committing to the school and what you think your future might be away from the sport, and then get to the sports part secondly. Because with the movement of college coaches right now in today's climate, it's very difficult when you see young people that commit to a coach. Coach is there, coach leaves. You look at what happened with Michigan State. Mark D'Antonio, Mel Tucker comes in. He's trying to clean house over there and get his own guys in there. And the world turns. Kids enter the transfer portal every day of the week, and it's a very vicious cycle. Once you're there, I know it's all great for signing day, and it's a very special moment for a lot of young people across the country. But once you sign that dotted line, it's a whole new ball game, and everything that you heard about being how great you were, it's going right out the window, because now you're just a guy on the roster trying to earn a spot on the depth chart. So when it comes to negative recruit, I saw JJ McCarthy, one of the top recruits that Michigan has. He's very excited about it. He said, "I've been waiting 2 years for this. Like, let's finally go." So that's a positive. But you hope that you can hold on to some of the studs you think that you might have, and those kids can pan out no matter who's the coach in Ann Arbor.
All right, I want to thank Anthony Bellino, our guest, for his time, as you can listen to Anthony every morning on Fox Sports Radio 1230 here in Toledo. Anthony, thank you once again.
Thank you, Mark.